Hello, and a belated Happy New Year to everyone in Pompey Podland. It's 2026, and I would like to welcome you to a brand new year and a brand new Play Up podcast. Welcome to the first podcast of 2026, and as usual, I'm joined by the stalwarts of the Play Up Pod in Phil, Reece, and Jamie. How are you guys?
Right, my love.
All right.
Very well, thank you.
Good. And also delighted to say, again, we have Tom from 4-0 Guesting. He's back for a second crack at Phil's quiz, and also to shower us with the quality Pompey punditry. Happy New Year to you, Tom. You all right?
I think you might have put the wrong guess for that, Scott. Yeah, no. I'm very well, thank you. Thanks for having me back.
Well, if you know anyone, then I'll book them next time. Thanks.
Good man.
As we record, Pompey sit 21st in the table with 25 points from 24 games. Having had 2 games postponed so far, they have at least 1 game in hand on the rest of the league. The last postponement coming on a Sunday when freezing weather meant the Fratton Park pitch was unplayable for Ipswich. You probably had to go some way to find a Pompey fan who was too upset, bearing in mind the previous result away at Bristol City. Over Christmas, Pompey gained some valuable points, starting off with a hard-earned point at Derby, which saw us produce a wonderful team goal, and then a very dour home point against QPR. But we move on to the game of the period when Charlton came to Fratton. The visitors were on a poor run themselves, so hopes were high. Pompey were without both Lang and Murphy, though, and both looked to be out for some time. As with the previous 2 games, it was low on quality, and the only chance of note was a smart save by Schmidt from a corner right at the end of the half. Early in the second half, Segacic created a chance for Devlin. The shot went to Swanson, who almost had an open goal from 12 yards, but he blazed over the bar. Shopley came on to complete his return from injury, and with almost his first header, he repeated his goal against Barnsley 20 months previously to give Pompey a vital lead. Kirk then was put away, and his cute control allowed him a shot on goal when he possibly should have played in Yang to finish. Pompey held firm well into injury time, but disaster struck from the final corner of the game. Nibs met a bouncing ball which made its way into the corner past a flailing Schmidt. That looked like a 3rd draw in a row, but from the kick-off, a punted ball into the box fell to Yang, and he was given a few seconds to find his feet and fire a dramatic winner for the last kick of the game that produced wild celebrations around Fratton Park for those of them had stayed. So Pompey ended 2025 with 2 wins and 2 draws, which had dragged them out of the relegation zone. Phil, as we mentioned before in the pod, there's a bit of a family feud going on when Pompey played Charlton. As usual, I had to leave early. I have my wife with me, and she doesn't like crowds, so we left on the 90th minute to try and get down the stairs quite quickly. And as we rounded the Fratton end, we heard 1 cheer, and as we got to the end of the lane, we heard a 2nd cheer. So obviously we'd heard that Pompey had won 2-1, but didn't see it. So what was it like to be in the Fratton end, Phil?
It's fairly subdued, really. It was quite quiet. We, everyone had a firm handshake and a nod to each other. No, it was absolutely mental. It was brilliant. There was a lot of hugging, a lot of gestures raised at the opposition fans, and happy days. The game itself, I thought it was 2 really poor teams, and I think we had a couple of moments of brilliance, but I thought we didn't look particularly good. They looked worse. If we think our wingers can't deliver anything, their wingers were shocking. I thought, got into good positions, never really created anything. So when we went 1-0 up, you thought that's probably a fair result. When it was 1-1, I certainly didn't think it was a fair result. But the goal we conceded, I thought, unfortunately, Uma, who's obviously come on for his debut, kind of got in Schmidt's way a bit. Hadn't really taken up a particularly good position. It's actually pronounced Uma.
Is it? Oh,
apparently so, yeah.
My apologies to him and to you.
That's all right. So, he'd sort of taken up, I guess it's quite an unfamiliar position at the near post. He kind of got under, he sort of got behind and under Schmidt, and Schmidt had no chance of saving it. So, we thought obviously at this point it was a hard work victory, a hard work win, and it was going to be a depressing trudge home. But then, literally seconds later, the ball was in the net, and it was a magic moment. And Uma sort of partly, what's the word I'm looking for? Partly made up for his sort of mistake by occupying two of their defenders, and the ball sort of fell quite kindly to Yang. He still had a bit of work to do, but he just seemed very composed. We didn't realise that was going to be his last touch in a Pompey shirt, but happy days. My wife was actually there in the Pompey, in with some Pompey fans at the other end, right by the away fans. So,
wow,
beautiful moment for everyone concerned. After the game, I know where my bread's buttered, so I was quite muted in my my gloating. My daughter, on the other hand, has got less to lose in these things, so she went in a bit like Ben Thatcher or Pedro Mendes, sort of figuratively. So it was an interesting evening in the Sands house, I have to say.
You say no gloating, Phil, but there is a picture that emerged with you with a glass of champagne sat on the sofa.
That's right. Yeah. That was intended for. I had to get some more for New Year's Eve in the end because I believe that I think the timing was right.
So, Jamie, was there any limbs in your section, or had you gone as well?
I didn't actually go to that game, but I missed the fun when they equalised. I had a proper tantrum in my front room. I'd been holding in a bit of lager for quite some time anyway, so I went upstairs. And I'm sorry for any listeners, but I was halfway through a wee when the goal went in. I had to pause my wee at that point and pull my trousers back up, run back downstairs. I just managed to catch the replay, and then about 5-10 minutes later, I got to resume the festivities.
You didn't wet yourself. No, that's good news.
You must have a sensational prostate, Jamie.
Well, for my age, I'm doing all right, mate.
What about you, Tom?
I don't quite know how to follow that, to be honest.
We don't need to know about your toilet routine, but what was it like in the South Stand with you?
Yeah, very very rarely these days actually do I ever see my dad's face quite such the picture that it was when that goal went in. We just we enjoy every goal we score, but we just sort of looked at each other, and it will never leave me the expression he pulled at that point. I think the South Stand gets a bit of a bad rep for the lack of limbs, certainly compared to the Fratton end. But to be fair, in recent weeks, and this is not me jumping ahead, but when Colby scored against Charlton, when Colby scored against Arsenal, and then the game against Charlton in the last minute, you could actually feel the South Stand floor shaking, and that doesn't always happen. So, I just thought it was just such a perfect story, and we so rarely are involved in anything like that. And you gents will know over the years, there's so many times where we've bossed a game, and I don't think we were bossing the game. I agree with the sentiment that it was two poor teams, but looked like we were just about home and dry, throw it away 1-1, everyone goes home with a sour taste and throw in tantrums and pause in wheeze and all sorts, and then you get to the goal going in. It should never have happened. I don't know why the referee was still playing. I'm glad he was. And I just highlight and I know he's no longer a part of the football club, but Yang does still have an awful lot to do. And if there's one thing that I've kind of noticed about the Premier League under whatever it is, 21s, 23s, low knees, that we seem to have a bit of a cycle of at the club at the minute, is they do know where the back of the net is, and you can always back them to find it in a pressure moment. And he's got absolutely no right to score from there, and it's just such a brilliant moment. And one I don't think any of us will be forgetting for a little while, Scott.
Well, I didn't see it. Not much to forget from my point of view. Reece, what about you at the Fratton end? I mean, what I was surprised by with the goal is that when the ball fell, Yang had 4 or 5 seconds to find his feet. It came off his thigh, went in his instep, went in his outstep, and then he managed to find it and swung his boot at it, and it went in the bottom corner.
Yeah, I was amazed. I had a moment where I actually ended up hugging a couple of guys who I've never hugged before, and just a few seats down. But that's because everybody had buggered off. I mean, it's just like that corner between the North Stand and the Fratton end. I've never seen it fill up so quickly when that goal went in. It was just like a surge, and it's like, oh, guys, this is what you go to football for, and it was just a reactionary huff that, right, we're going, and I know it doesn't happen very often, but the times when you stay and you don't get the equaliser and it's bad, those kind of moments make up for it, and it was just absolute chaos in the front end, and it was so much joy, and I just wish there were more fans to enjoy it. But it was a really good finish. I mean, I think the keeper, he looked like his hand went over the ball because it wasn't past him. It kind of, and whether that was bobbling or not, I don't know. But as Tom said, it was such a good finish. And although he hasn't, I would say, done much in the first half of the season, he does just have a knack of scoring some really, really important goals. And I think he's won us something like 8 points or something like that since he was here. Very important. But it's a shame he's gone, especially to get more minutes. I don't think he deserved more, but it was a fitting end, and I'm just so glad we managed to be on the receiving end of a last-minute winner instead of a last-minute losing goal.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, we've got to go on to the exact opposite of that kind of euphoria with Bristol City. So Pompey collectively must have been on a high after the 98th minute win against Charlton. And with a changed formation, they go to a back three. They started well and with good possession. Randall scored a swerving shot from the edge of the area, and not long after, a terrible pass from Schmidt into midfield gave the ball to Mehmeti, who scored with a deflected shot. Pompey had blown up in exactly the same way they did at Ashton Gate 12 months before. It was to get much worse, though. Twine added a third, and Pompey barely looked capable of stopping Bristol City attacks, who had the luxury of missing several chances before they added a fourth and a fifth goal. A terrible start to 2026 for the Blues, who needed to get their better players back to look to compete for the rest of the season. So, I mean, it's kind of moot because obviously the Ipswich game was then subsequently cancelled, Tom, but Mousinho in his post-match interviews kind of buried it immediately and said he wanted to move on and didn't want to dwell on it. I mean, there's two parts to this question. I guess that's the right thing to do from his point of view, just draw a line under it and say it's happened again. But also, you obviously go to all the away games. You've seen Pompey away over the whole of the year and a half we've been in the Championship. These blow-ups happen very often, don't they? And when they happen, the team just utterly collapses. Do you have an idea, a sense of why that happens?
The collapses always seem, from my point of view anyway, to come at the end of a 3-game week or the end of a period where we've gone through a bit of a spell of games that have demanded quite a lot of us, and they've always seemed to sort of come after. They don't always follow a victory, but they always come after a game where physically the output's really, really high, and that's not an excuse. And to address the first point of what you said there, Mousinho coming out and saying, "Oh, we just got to move on," and almost kind of make it a non-event and bury it. For me, not good enough. I think we need to address that head on, and you need to say, actually, the people that represent the shirt of this football club cannot involve themselves in 5-0 defeats away from home. And I know they happen, and they have happened, and we survived in the Championship last season, and we had a lot of them. We had the West Brom, we had the Derby, we had the Bristol City. I know it wasn't 5 last season. There's more, and you just, it's. I mean, the reason why that one specifically, Bristol City, is plainly and simply goalkeeping errors, right? There's no way that we concede as many goals as we did that afternoon without Nico Schmid making the costly errors that he does. He's a fantastic shot stopper. I think he's a great keeper. I'd love him to kick it in the white lines a lot more often than he does at the moment. But that is completely, I'm afraid, almost entirely at his door. And we seem to have this mentality about us, and I don't know what it is, but it's almost like, and this same can be said for many other teams, I'm sure, but I don't like it. It's that once you sort of get to 3, 4 or 5, this Pompey squad, well, particularly sort of the Pompey administration under John Mousinho, just stops playing. We did absolutely nothing, literally nothing for the entirety of that second half, other than a Connor Chaplin shot, which was cheered like a goal on minute, 87, I want to say. Just completely stopped playing. And I know game's gone and it doesn't matter, but from my point of view, I'd want us to keep fighting and creating. And I know mentally it's really difficult to, but at least play your football. Like there's, the scoreline irrelevant. You still got to give a good account of yourself as a professional footballer, and that's not what we do after those 5-0 defeats. And I come back to what I was saying earlier about the issue where we get to the end of a 3-game week. The thing that also coincides is that John Messino's side more often than not approaching this end game that ends up being the 5-0 or the 4-0 or whatever is a depleted squad, but it's also a team that he ends up changing an awful lot. When you teed us up there, you mentioned the back three. This squad has never really played a back three under John Messino, so I don't know why he completely changes the squad, brings in a load of new players, plays a brand new system, and expects any other result than that a huge defeat like we got. So yeah, in a longish way of saying it, that's kind of how I'd sum up the 5-0 to you.
Yeah, it's interesting what Tom says there. I mean, we love John Messino. He's the best manager we've had for a very long time, probably since I don't know, Paul Cook, I expect, and Reece. There seems to be a significant chink in his armour. The tactics when we play away, the resilience when we play away. It seems he's in 18 months he's not found the answer, apart from maybe, a Leicester away where we play well and get a 1-1 draw, and we all think that we've solved the problem, and then we go to Birmingham and get absolutely humped 2 weeks later. So it seems to be a real problem for him.
It does, but I've got a slight different take on it, and I think I'm probably a little less emotional about it because I don't go to the away games as much as Tom does. But I just think maybe it's just part of game management across the season, not necessarily individual. In that he knows that he doesn't have the squad, the strength in depth to kind of compete in some of the big games. I mean, these are also top-ish teams. I mean, Birmingham, they're not doing great, but I mean they tend to happen at the teams that we're not exactly competing against. And I think I don't know whether this is the case, but to me it looks like he has a team talk of, right lads, we've got a game today, get some exercise, compete, but nothing stupid. We've got a bigger game on Saturday against so and so, because it does always seem to be also we do have lesser opposition, that therefore very soon after we can actually on paper should get more from the game. And this is why I constantly say on here, at the moment we debate micro parts of the season in one go, where actually the most important result is where we finish at the end of the season. So I don't know whether it is that. It feels like that a little bit to me, especially the capitulation, as in players not really trying. That might be a reason for it, but to me there are things that we have to maybe just take on the chin, because we just don't have the strength and depth, and we don't have the players as much as we'd like to have, and therefore we almost like maybe just do say, right, we got a more important game, therefore we don't need to do anything really silly. And last season it worked. This season you don't know. But whether it's the thing is, the team bounces back. I think if this is a constant thing, you did mention happens regularly. I mean, I bet, what was it, 4 or 5 times last season, out of 23 away games. I wouldn't say it's that regular, but I think
that's
if we were
every
having
6 or 7 games. That's every 6 or 7 games. So that's
I think
pretty regularly,
Well, if it's every 6 or 7 games, what's that? 15% of games it's happening in, which isn't, to me, isn't a massive. I think if you were having 2 or 3 of those on the bounce away, I think you got a bigger problem. But we do seem to recover, especially at home as well. So that's my observation on it, I think.
Yep, cool. Phil?
I can't really argue with much of anything that Tom and Reece have said, but one sort of observation I have had over the course of these sort of capitulations is, much that our leadership group, or our more senior players, all seem like thoroughly nice men. They don't seem to have the sort of character that you'd often look for in a captain. And I know people overplay the sort of passionate team captain, but I cannot imagine a team under captained by, I don't know,
Tim Sherwood,
or Michael Doyle, or some of the sort of stronger characters that we've had in the past. I can't imagine them allowing that to happen. You look at Roy Keane. If you can imagine what Roy Keane would do with that team if they started to drop like that. And you look across the pitch when the sort of like the third goals go in, sloped shoulders, everyone's got their head down. There's no one there going around going, come on boys, we're not out of this, or trying to G people up. And I think kind of it's a bit of a malaise that spreads. And I wish we had. I wish we had that sort of leadership, the leadership that's going to go round and try and get the younger players who are out on the pitch and and lead from the front. So That's my sort of take on it.
Yeah. Jamie, got anything to add?
Well, only that I don't think we can afford a Roy Keane. I think we might be able to just muster up maybe a Roy indifferent, Roy apathetic, Roy uninterested, or Roy reluctant. But I don't think we can afford a Keane with our own.
All adjectives that sum up that Bristol City defeat, Jamie. So yeah, spot on there, mate. Well, in happier times, so we had a bit of a fun weekend. We had a free hit with Arsenal coming to Fratton Park for the FA Cup third round. I was excited. I was very disappointed that I didn't get to see Saka or Declan Rice play, but they still had a team full of internationals. So Pompey had a fun distraction from their league worries when Premier League champions-elect Arsenal came to Fratton Park in the third round of the FA Cup. Despite Mousinho saying he would not risk players in cup games, he fielded probably the strongest team he could put out, including a returning Poole and Bishop with Ogilvie on the bench. Fans wanted to see Pompey fight bravely against a team full of internationals, but not many probably had dreamed of taking the lead. Pompey were pressing high and the busy Swanson nicked the ball, which fell to Blair. He jinked past his man and crossed for Chaplin to shoot on goal. The shot was saved, but it fell to Bishop 6 yards out and he tapped in for his first goal in 3 months. Fratton Park went wild and the ground was rocking. Sadly, the lead did not last long. Set-piece masters Arsenal then equalised from a corner. A whipped-in swinging ball bounced off 2 heads and was forced home on the line by Nordgaard. The lively Blair then raced onto a through ball on the left and cut inside to bend a shot towards the corner, which was smartly saved by the keeper. Arsenal then took the lead, scoring once again from a corner. Martinelli ran to the near post and flicked a header into the far corner. They then had the opportunity to get a third when Swanson clumsily challenged Madueke in the box and the ref gave a penalty. It was a soft one, but without VAR, the ref's decision stood. Madueke stepped up to take it. However, his shot missed the target and it was still 1-2 at half-time. The third did come early in the second half. A quickly taken free kick that Pompey switched off from found its way to Jesus and his cross was poked home by Martinelli. If there was any doubt Arsenal would progress to round 4, they had all disappeared after that goal. Martinelli then completed his hat-trick and turned himself from 0 to hero following his antics in his previous game. Another corner was headed in almost identically from the previous one and the game was over. Sadly for Pompey, though, they picked up more injuries with Blair and Uma going off, and he is now confirmed as being out for the season. Jamie, a nice fun distraction for a Sunday afternoon, and we were ahead against the best team in Europe for 7 minutes. What was your take on it?
So, I mean, it was wonderful to see Colby obviously get his goal. It was really good to see the individual performances of some of the players. You know, when one of the best teams in the world come to play your club, they up their game, and it was good to see that we've got, you know, there is that passion fight in them, and you know, for a few minutes, I think we were all in dreamland. It was wonderful. I'm hoping that we can take some lessons from it. I'm hoping that for the whole week, the club has been working on how to defend set pieces. And if they haven't, then everybody at that club needs to be sacked, because it was obvious. We really need to work on that. I think we all knew anyway, but hopefully this game has highlighted that. We can take that away as a positive. The only question I'm really left with from the whole of it, does that mean that Bristol are better than Arsenal if they Arsenal could only get 4 against us? Does that mean Bristol? Oh, I don't know. I'll leave that one.
Well, maybe Bristol get a chance to test themselves against Arsenal next season. Who knows?
Yeah.
I think, Phil, it was great to see a world-class side, but I think the whole of Fratton Park was very, very frustrated with some of the antics from especially Jesus and a few other players. We certainly saw a different level of contact in and out of the box playing a Premier League team, didn't we?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, I mean the sort of shenanigans in the penalty area for a start were. I mean, I've never seen that at Championship level, and I don't think referees would tolerate it in the Championship. But I thought not that I'm blaming it for the defeat, but I thought the way that in which the ref handled sort of Arsenal's digressions and ours were sort of like vastly different. It's almost like he was starstruck by the Arsenal players, and I think a case in point was can't remember who it was, one of our players was booked for a sort of what they call a sort of strategic foul, and then when Segicic made a bit of a fool out of Ben White just pushed him to the ground, and the ref sort of wagged his finger at him, and no card came out. And you just thought, well, yeah, we're never going to get those sort of decisions. It's not why we lost, but you're never going to get those decisions.
No, I was quite disappointed with the way that Arsenal played. I mean, I've watching Premier League games, watching Premier League highlights. I haven't really noticed that level of simulation in the Premier League. Perhaps I just haven't been watching it as keenly as I did because it wasn't in front of me on a pitch, and I didn't have skin in the game because they were playing my beloved Pompey. But it really. There were periods in the game where three sides of Fratton Park were literally up in arms and throwing themselves about. And there was one point where I think it was sort of halfway through the second half where I think it was Swanson was chasing Ben White back to his own touchline with the ball. And White literally put his hands together like that and dived onto the floor. Like, it wasn't Thompson-esque where he stuck his backside out and fell over. It was literally a full-length dive, and the referee just blew his whistle and pointed for a free kick to Arsenal. And I could not believe what I was seeing. It was some strange stuff going on.
There are two sides to this coin for me. On the one hand, I think we start with the positive, we'll start with the negative. We'll start with the negative. I think the way that the game was officiated was dreadful. And I think what's even more annoying for me is that the referee on the day, Tony Harrington, has refereed us in the Championship already this season and was nowhere near as fussy. And as the gents have said, his threshold was so much higher for a foul. And yes, you're refereeing a Championship game, and I know, and it's just part of it, that when a Premier League club goes away anywhere, I think I said in my video, Arsenal could have gone to Macclesfield and they still would have had the same treatment of a top-level referee, which Tony Harrington is. So that wound me up. The other side of the same coin is that within a couple of minutes of the referee giving the silly soft fouls in Arsenal's favour, we needed to wisen up to that and start playing them at their own game, and we didn't. And we kept on doing same old Pompey Championship threshold for fouls, whereas we didn't wisen up to it enough. And funny enough, it's something that Scott, you might remember, Messino spoke to us about this in Chichester a little while ago. I think it was away at Birmingham for that big 4-0 defeat. I don't know who it was, went in on Nico Schmid and caught him, and Nico stayed on his feet and didn't go down for a foul. And Messino himself pointed out and said, well, we need to be wiser to that. Nico needs to go down and that needs to be given as a foul. But if we don't draw attention to it, we're not going to get it. And I feel like it was kind of case in point here. As you boys have said, it made absolutely no difference on the outcome of the game. It was a great, fun weekend. I thought we conducted ourselves exactly the way I would have wanted us to in terms of actually trying to play some football. And I think the goal was brilliant and the moment that we all wanted. And isn't it just absolutely hilariously Pompey that Colby goes 3 months without scoring, all of a sudden one of the best defences on the planet rock up, and he scores against them within a couple of minutes. That is just so like us.
Yeah. So I was going to come to you, Reece, and say that there was some great performances, particularly Swanson, I thought, certainly for the first 60 minutes. Blair, I thought, was great for 30 minutes in that first half. He was up against some quality defenders there and made some good runs, and the cross for Chaplin shot was pretty astute. And also, Colby gets a goal. I mean, there's some positives we could take out of that to the next couple of games, isn't there?
Yeah. I think there are quite a few good performances, actually. I thought LaRue had a pretty good game. Chaplin had a good game. Blair played really, really well. Swanson was really, really good. But for me, Devlin, his stock is just rising and rising and rising. I thought he had a great game. He's really busy. He's really on the defenders. He can head and things. But it was just such a good performance, and say we can raise our game. But I mean, it's just they're on another level, aren't they? And with all the fouling and everything, I think in the Premiership it's just an art now because you've got VAR. There is a skill in fouling and getting fouls, and as Tom said, we just weren't as clued up on it. I mean, it is what it is, but I think takeaway for the game is atmosphere, but also the Segacic nutmeg on Ben White. That was an absolute moment of absolute beauty. And actually, Segacic had a really, really good game. And signs there that actually maybe some of the signings can play at a better level and a higher level, and hopefully not get injured. Yeah, they were. You could just see it in their touch, the way they move, the way the ball around. They're on 2 or 3 levels above. So yeah, fair play to them, but we have bigger fish to fry this season.
We have more important things, yeah. So, Phil, you've been talking about this last couple of days. So there's some interesting data you've got on under-21 injuries. So I mentioned that Uma was ran for a ball and suddenly went down like he was shot with his hamstring. Blair, of course, struggles with his fitness as well. Mind you, he's 22 now, so he shouldn't really be classed as under 21. But you've got some interesting data in a report about under 21 injuries.
Yeah, so this all sort of came from an interview with Arnie Slot, who was talking about the problem with managing the workload of his under 21 players. And Slot was saying that the problem is that the physical sort of demands placed on these players has increased quite dramatically. These young players haven't fully developed physically; their bodies aren't up to the rigours of regular sort of men's football. And he said they have to be really careful about the way they manage their workload and their programmes in order to prevent short-term injuries and long-term injuries. So a lot of what he said was highlighted in this report, the Howden report, which was commissioned by an insurance company, and not just to look into under 21 injuries, but injuries in general across the top leagues of Europe, and primarily what it costs clubs. I think they're an insurance company, and I think they're saying in last season it cost Premier League teams £1 billion, and it cost across Europe it was a total of about £3.5 billion. So they're more interested in the financial aspect, but they've dug under that to say, what are the reasons for this? And the headline statement that they use in the section about young players reads, over the 5-year period, we've observed a notable increase in the overall injury severity of players under the age of 21. And sort of within this, there's some really alarming stats that I sort of pulled out. First one said that there's been an increase of nearly 190% in the amount of time missed through injury for under 21 players over the past 3 years, which is a huge amount. Particularly in England and the Premier League. Realise we're not in the Premier League, but there's a knock-on effect of that. In fact, obviously, the Championship we play a lot more games than they do in the Premier League. But they say that Premier League forwards, in particular, under the age of 21, sustained an injury every 120 minutes of competitive domestic football. So that's less than 1.5 games before picking up an injury. And they said that the 5 most sort of injury-prone scenarios that players have been injured in involving a minimum of 300 minutes of football, all involved under 21 players. In 2023-24, under 21 players in the Premier League missed, on average, over 49 days of the season through injury. Last season, that dropped to 35 days, and that's presumably because Premier League clubs are sort of sitting up and taking notice of this and managing their workload better, or just sort of loaning them out to the lower leagues and let them find out the hard way. The knock-on effect of that is we've obviously got a transfer strategy which involves us bringing in quite a lot of young players. And the problem we have there is the under 21 players we've got at the moment are pretty much all either out injured or recovering from injuries. And then you mentioned about, Harvey Blair being a bit older, obviously Farrell being just over, Boat being just over 21, but they've all spent huge chunks of their time whilst at the club injured. And I just find it's quite interesting, but also quite concerning, because if you sort of look beyond our sort of first choice 11, we are relying on these players, and to expect them to come in and, potentially play 20 games a season and not break down is a huge risk. So yeah, I thought it was quite interesting, but obviously it has been a season of injury like no other. But there seems to be an underlying reason for that, and a reason that we really should be aware of.
Yeah, because as you say, we seem to sort of be hanging our hat on 15, 16 senior players with 6 or 7, juniors to back them up. We don't have a reserve side, under 23 side, under 21 side, whatever. So we don't have a farm to put them in to play, teenage football and get used to allowing their body to grow without too much demand. Jamie,
and a lot of those players. A lot of those.
No, go on, Phil, and I'll come to Jamie afterwards.
Yeah, a lot of those players are playing in the kind of positions where you do pick up those sort of injuries. I mean, obviously with both our sort of first choice wide men out injured, it's an occupational hazard of being a winger. You're going to get contact injuries. You're going to get injuries where you're twisting your joints, ligament injuries, and so everyone below those 2 players that you'd call a natural winger at the club at the moment is a young player who's going to be even more susceptible. So yeah, quite worrying.
Yeah. Sorry, Jamie, I was going to come to you. Just say It seems to be that our transfer policy is susceptible to this particular phenomenon. The fact is that, if we are going to try and mine ex-Premiership academy players, like, for example, Boat was, Harvey Blair was, etc., and then try and introduce them to men's football quite quickly, we're gonna fail there, aren't we? We're always going to have this problem unless we switch tack and try and bring in 22 senior pros, to fill the first team squad with one or two, younger reserves, and actually try and create a reserve structure.
I wonder if psychologically the reason that our club is being run that way is because the only experience or the major experience that our owners have of football ownership before they came here was Football Manager, and the rise of the wonder kid. I mean, Tom, I'm assuming you play. I know everybody else does. You can win that game by signing fantastic wonder kids, and that is the best way because they're cheap. You grow them, and if you want to remain profitable, okay, yeah, once you've made that money. But if you want to rise up the leagues, which is the most fun part of that game, and so I do wonder if their strategies. Oh, well, yeah, it can be done that way. But you know my view. I think we need a lot more, championship quality players in the squad, and. I mean, if it, 9 seasons now, it hasn't, Terry Devlin's fantastic. Segacic could work, but other than that, are there any too many success stories? But also going back as well, it did make me think when you said this about in the week, Phil, it did make me think about Michael Owen, who was a fantastic player at a very young age, suffered with injuries throughout, and almost peaked too early. By the time he come back to England, he didn't really achieve much. He'd almost like hit his peak by about 27, 28. By the time he went to Madrid, he wasn't the same player that he was at Anfield. So maybe there's some truth in what you're saying, that the Premier League as a whole, or the English football, the whole tier needs to just look after youngsters more, wrap them in a bit more cotton wool.
Yeah. So it's a really interesting point, Phil, and thanks for digging that up. No, we've had various discussions on how Pompey are building their player squad size, and we have been really, really unlucky with as many senior players being injured for long periods and forcing us to put in the kids when we probably don't want to do that for more than 5 or 10 games a season. But you would hope that the club are just as aware of the report as we are. So we'll have to see what happens. But, our first signing was, how old is the lad that came in yesterday?
25.
25. Okay, right. But he's not done much with his career so far. So let's hope he's built like an oak and can run through players in games for the next 20 odd games or something. So thanks for that, Phil. We'll go on to the quiz now. So you've kept it over from last season. So let's hope it's sort of a New Year's quiz. Is it a New Year's quiz still?
It's not a New Year's quiz. No.
Oh, okay.
It's a very topical one. It's not about jacket potatoes, which is obviously the hot topic in Portsmouth at the moment.
The hot potato, yes.
Yes. It is about the transfer window, the January transfer window. So, as you know, we're recording this on 15th of January, smack bang in the middle of January, or as Rich Hughes and John Messino like to call it, the early days of January. What I've done, I've gone back over the last 25 years since 2000 and looked at some of the players that we've signed during the January transfer window. So I'm going to ask you to pick a year, and in each year there'll be a question. So you're going to end up each with 6 questions each. And so I'll save one back in case there's a tiebreak.
This is going to be a very long pod. We're already 40 minutes.
I'll do it as quick as I can.
Well, to be fair,
we'll have no chat. We'll have no banter.
Listen, no. Let's do it. If it takes an hour and a half to do this pod, we'll do an hour and a half. We haven't done one for 5 weeks, so let's do a massive one. Yeah, go on then.
So Tom, as our special guest, I'll let you choose a year between 20 and 25 to kick us. Between 2000 and 2025 to kick us off.
I wasn't alive for 3 of those years, so I will
Stop
go.
It.
I wasn't.
That's a point off for Tom straight away.
I wasn't. I'm an 03 baby, I'm afraid, so I can't. Yeah, I already feel at a slightly unfair disadvantage. Let's go for. I tell you what, then let's go 03 then, just for that very reason.
All right then.
That's very
Oh,
brave
it's a
of
good
you.
one. So in 2003, who was the 41-year-old club legend who returned to Pompey on a free transfer from Havant and Waterlooville?
Do you boys all know this?
I think I do.
He was 41 at the time.
He was 41 at
No.
the time. Yeah, he was brought in to sit on the bench as cover. Didn't actually play.
Ah, legend.
I honestly haven't got the foggiest.
Legend, Tom. Legend.
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 There is only one legend.
Put him out of his misery.
Alan Knight.
Alan.
Knight. Yes. Before your time, Tom. Before your time.
He's not very well, is he? Bless him. I haven't heard much about how he is these days.
No, it's been quite quiet.
He looked okay on holiday. We saw some holiday pics, I think, about a
Okay,
week or
good.
so ago with him. No, he looks okay. Hopefully he's okay.
So, Tom, next time round, I'll pick something nearer to this end of the 21st century. Reece, you're up next.
Oh, crikey. I'll go 2024.
Okay, 2024. We signed a midfielder who shares his name with a sweaty comedian. What was his name?
Oh, Lee Evans.
Very good, Reece. Very good. Okay, Jamie, pick a year.
2001.
2001. So in 2001, we signed a Premier League winning midfielder on loan from Bradford City. Who was he?
Was it Merson? No, he wasn't on loan, was he? No, I don't know.
It was Lee Sharp. And
Wee
I
wee
saw an
sh-
interview
wee
with him
wee
when he
Sharp.
actually described his time at Portsmouth as one of his happiest times in football.
Yeah, I won't repeat the story about him out on a night out in Bar Blue.
Let's move on, Scott, for legal reasons.
He's not called wee wee for nothing. Anyway, carry on.
Scott, pick a year.
For comedy value, I'm going to go for 2013 because we signed about 50 million players that year, I think.
Well, it's funny you should say that because, Scott, the January transfer window of 2013 was mental. We brought in 19 players, 13 of whom were on loan. Can you name any one of the 13 loanees? Just one.
Well, bearing in mind I was making my way down from the north of the country by foot, I probably wasn't paying that much attention, to be honest. There's one that's got a double-barreled name, perhaps. Am I correct?
You're correct, yeah.
But I can't remember it.
Got to name him, though.
I know. But that's the only one I can remember, but I can't remember his name.
I mean, it's a bit like saying there's one of them had brown hair, which I think...
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true. No, go on, put me out of my misery.
Okay, you could have had John Akindi, Patrick Aguiman, James Keane, Carl Dickinson, Scott Allen, Terry Rackon, Nathaniel Mendez-Lang, who's the one you're thinking of, Paul Benson, Sean Cooper, Alex Cisak, Jake Jervis, Adam Reed, and Frankie Sutherland.
Well, there we go.
A veritable who's who.
Or not who's who. Yeah, go on.
Okay, Tom, back to you.
Let's go for what I would imagine is probably our greatest ever January transfer window of all time, which would have been 2008.
2008. Okay, we made our most expensive January signing ever in 2008. Who was it?
I know that one's Sully Montari because that's still a club record fee, isn't it?
Yeah, but it wasn't in January.
Is it not Sully Montari?
No. I think we signed him in the summer transfer window.
Jermaine?
It was Jermaine Defoe. I'll tell you what, Tom. We'll give you that. We'll give you that one.
Oh wow, that's very generous of
Was
you.
Montari 11 million, wasn't he? Montari was 11 million. Can't remember.
Montari's 11. I think Jermaine was about
John
8.
Utaka that year as well?
Yeah, I think he was a January as well, wasn't he? Well, not January. Barros was. I think we signed about three or four strikers in January. Barros was definitely one of them.
David Nugent?
Possibly.
We already had Nugent. No, we already had
Nugent. Was summer.
Yeah, we already had Nugent.
Okay. It was that year. Sorry, go on.
Yeah,
carry on.
That was the year of many strikers.
Yeah, because I was at Ipswich when we won 1-0 and Nugent scored in the third round of the FA Cup that we eventually went on to win.
There we go. Reece, on to you.
2025.
2025. 3 of the 9 players that we brought in last January are still with the club. Name 2 of them. Half a point for each.
Crikey. That's a crikey. I thought, that'd be really, really recent. But then it's like, what? Oh, was Lang one of them? Not
No.
on loan. No, can't have been. I'm struggling on this one, to be
These
honest.
aren't loan players. So these are players we
No.
bought in.
Dazelle?
That's a
No, I
sign.
don't have. Don't have.
Okay.
Don't have a
Anyone
clue.
want to hazard a guess of any of the
Hayden
January?
McIntyre was one. McIntyre
Tom
one.
Hayden Matthews was correct. McIntyre, no.
Waddingham.
Waddingham, very good, Tom. Go on. If you get the other one, I'll give you a bonus half point.
Oh, Ben Killip.
Look at that. Yes. that's
Look
a
at
bonus
that.
half point
Yeah,
for you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
See, give me the recent stuff.
Yes.
Well,
So,
we're of the
Jamie-
age, Tom, that we're of the age that we can't even remember what happened yesterday. So you've got an unfair advantage on us.
Over to you, Jamie.
2000, Phil.
2009. So in 2009, we signed a Portuguese midfielder on loan from Porto. He shares his name with a very famous Brazilian striker. What was his name?
Oh, is it a Pele?
It was Pele, yes. Well
Yeah.
done, Jamie. Did he ever play for it? I can't even remember if he actually kicked a ball in anger.
I've got to say though, I was trying to be a knob there. I didn't think we signed anyone in the January 2009 window because that was when everything went tits up and we didn't have any money. So I'd actually assumed we didn't sign a single player there. So when you said to me about Pele, I was totally thrown.
All right.
Yes.
Pick a year.
Oh, I forgot it was an
As you said,
interaction.
Scott, you can't remember
Sorry.
even what happened to you.
No. I completely zoned out there. Sorry. So I'm going to go for 2016.
16. Which defender signed on loan from Ipswich eventually joined Pompey permanently as part of a swap deal with Adam Webster?
I'm going to say, oh God, who was who? So I'm going to say Burgess, but I'm not entirely sure.
No.
I think it was he signed someone to play with Burgess, but I can't remember.
Very good. Who was it then, everyone?
Matt Clark.
Correct.
Arse.
Right, back to
You
you,
hit the
Tom.
post on that one, Scott. You hit the post, mate. Which years have we got left?
2000, 2002, everything from 2017 to 2023, couple in the middle.
Oh, I'll go for 23 then.
2023, Riley Towler signed from Bristol City and was synonymous with the phrase, "It's got to be doors." What question was that the answer to?
Are there more wheels or doors on the planet in the world?
Correct. Very good. It was indeed.
I think I've got away with an easy one there, Chents.
Yeah.
Never heard of that one.
I didn't understand a word of that.
Oh, okay. That's all right then.
That's one for our younger fans.
We don't
Reece,
have
on
any.
to you. Oh, yeah.
2010.
2010. Which Portuguese defender, currently assistant manager of Benfica, did we sign on a free transfer from Standard Liège?
Not a clue.
Legend.
Oh, it's
Not
not
Alan
Alan Knight.
No, not Alan Knight. Not quite as much of a legend.
Oh, it was Ricardo Roca.
Yeah, well done, Reece. It was indeed Ricardo Roca. Jamie, pick a year.
2018, please.
2018. Which goalkeeper returned on loan from Nottingham Forest 6 years after we sold him to West Ham? That's a horrible question. Sorry, Jamie.
If you get that, that's unbelievable.
I don't know. It's not McGivery. He didn't play for 6 years after we sold him to West Ham. Shaka Hislop, somebody like that.
No, it was anyone? Stephen
Not Dean
Henderson.
Kite.
Who?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'd have been 13 then, wouldn't you, Tom?
No idea. Yeah,
Right.
That's I've literally never heard of him.
Okay, on to Scott.
2021.
2021. Which of the 4 January signings played the most games for Pompey? Charlie Daniels, George Byers, Lewis Ward, or Harry White?
Lewis Ward.
I'm going to say it's between. Who was the second one you said?
George Byers.
Yeah, so I think it's between Byers and I'm going to go Charlie Daniel.
It was Harvey White. 21 appearances.
Wow.
Right, back to you, Tom.
Is 2022 still available?
It certainly is. The
Let's
son
go for that.
of a famous England international enjoyed a miserable loan spell at Fratton Park. Name him and his famous father, half a point for each.
Fuck me, what's his name? went to Coventry after us, didn't he?
That's the one.
Oh, God. Tyler Walker.
Yes.
And his dad was Des?
Very good.
Very well done. Very well done.
Because you'll never beat Des Walker, as my old man would say.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's right, your old man. He is right. Reece, over to you.
I'll just go for the earliest one. That's
2000. In 2000, you'll regret. No, in 2000, we re-signed Lee Bradbury.
Yeah.
But who did we sign him from the second time?
Crystal Palace.
Yeah, blimey. I didn't know this.
That's a great answer.
That's a great one, isn't it?
Back of the net.
That is an absolute... Yeah, well done, Reece. It's a worldie. Right.
That's worth 2 points.
Yeah.
You got to ask.
2019, please.
Okay, 2019. Which product of Southampton's academy joined on loan from Barnsley but failed to make a single appearance for the Blues?
Bloody hell.
You do pick them, Jamie.
Oh, no, I know this one.
Do you?
Yeah, Lloyd.
Oh, yes.
Lloyd High Five. No, Lloyd I High Five. Igrove. Lloyd Igrove. Scummer. Yeah.
Lloyd is Grove, but I'll let you have that. Yes.
Yeah, definitely give him that. That's unreal.
That's well done, Jamie.
Yeah.
You've got so much credibility back now, haven't you?
I get one right every now and then. Every 4 quizzes, I get one answer right.
You've got 2 today.
I'm the one crashing and burning today.
Scott, pick a year.
Give me 3 that are left, and I'll pick one of those.
You can have 2011, 2015.
2005.
2005. We signed 2 Greek players in the 2005 January transfer window. Can you name them? Half a point for each.
Chalkias, and who was the one that couldn't defend, the midfielder? It was...
That's harsh.
God. No, I could see him, but I can't.
Marlon Pack.
No.
It was the Cenas, wasn't it?
Stop ragging on OAPs, Tom.
Was it the Cenas?
No.
It wasn't Cenas,
No.
Sounds a bit like a venereal disease.
Sorry, as soon as you say it, I'm going to say yes, him. But he was a midfielder anyway.
He was a midfielder.
Not Vlachos, was it?
Giannis Skopolitis.
Skopolitis, yeah. He was terrible. Yeah, not as bad as Chalkias, but he was terrible.
No. All right, over to you, Tom.
I got half a point.
You did get half a point, Scott. You've got
what have we got left?
What have we got left? In reverse order, we've got 2020, 2017, 2015, 2014.
I'll go 2020 then. I've got a bit of a chance on that one.
2020. Which signing from Bromley dropped the second part of his double-barrel surname and is now playing and scoring regularly for Lincoln City?
Was Rico Hackett Fairchild dropped to Rico Hackett?
Brilliant. You're running away with this, Tom. Although all the recent years have gone, so I think you might be. I think you might be fading on the home straight.
Oh yeah, we'll see.
Okay, Reece.
I'll go for the last remaining early one.
2002. We signed Svetoslav Todorov, the man who scored the goals that got us to the Premier League this year. Where did we sign him from?
West Ham.
Very good, Reece. Very good. You're staying in touch here at the top with Tom. Jamie?
2017? 2014, did you say?
17, yes, 2017. In 2017, we signed 2 players from Hampton and Richmond. Who were they? Half a point for each.
I know one of them.
Yeah.
We might see one of them on Saturday. There's a clue.
I was going to say, was one of them a right back?
No.
No, I don't know. I don't know. No.
They're both forwards.
I do remember. I remember that happening, but I don't remember who. No, I don't remember the names.
God, Tom, you're chomping at the bit to name one of them.
So Jamal Lowe's one of them. I don't know who the other one is though. Scott
Kabamba. There's Kabamba.
Nicky Kabamba. Possibly the greatest song ever sung at Fratton Bar.
Yeah.
He's still at Bromley, Nick Kabamba.
Is he?
Yeah, he's still
back
playing.
Back at his level, bless him.
Right. Okay. Scott, your turn.
Yeah. 2006 left, is it?
2006 is left. In 2006, we signed 3 players on permanent deals from Spurs to save our season. Name 2 of them. Half a point for each.
Pedro Mendes, Sean Davis.
Yeah, that'll do. Can you remember the other one?
Noe Pamero.
Noe Pamero.
Yeah, clean
Very
sweep. Well
good.
done. Okay,
I'm still last, but I'm not quite so last.
correct. Back over to you then, Tom.
Shall I challenge myself and go for one of the early ones that's left?
Go on then.
What's left early doors?
We have got 2004, 2007, 2011, 2012, 2014 and 2015.
Just to make it exciting, go 2004 and I'll probably get it wrong. Bit
Go on,
kamikaze from me.
This
but
is
here we go.
very brave. This is what was her name in the Traitors last night? This is
This is the
move
Harriet,
pulled, isn't it? It's a Harriet move. Tom has pulled a Harriet move. Which Loney, signed in 2004, scored an 89th minute equaliser against his parent club after they failed to insert a clause into his contract preventing him from playing.
God, I should know this, shouldn't I?
Yes.
Oh, God. Oh, I remember reading about this recently as well, because I obviously don't remember it happening. It was an English club, wasn't it?
Yes.
Or was
With
that
an
too-
English
okay.
manager. With an English manager who was
Yeah,
quite annoyed.
He was fuming. It's not an English player, though. I'm going to kick myself, aren't I?
Did he come from the Congo?
He did. I'm not going to do the obvious joke there.
Was he famed for his backflips?
Yes, he was.
Luar
So
Luar. That's a
So
massive
good, they
assist.
named him
I don't
that.
think I can get away with that, can I?
I'll give you half a point.
I just wanted you to not miss the Traitors, Tom.
Okay. I'll
Okay.
take half a point.
So over to Reece.
I'll have the last remaining, whatever the earliest one is.
Okay, 2007. In 2007, we signed a title-winning defender from Arsenal. Who was he?
Oh,
Reece,
Sol
this is-
Campbell.
Oh, Reece, so confident and so wrong.
Oh, title winner. Oh, okay.
Anyone?
Lauren.
Lauren, very good, Jamie. Okay, so Scott, to finish things off. Oh, no, sorry, Jamie. I've skipped you then because you gave that answer. Jamie,
I thought
your
I got away with it then. I only know the old ones. What's the oldest one you've got?
The oldest one got 2011.
Oh, God. Oh, no. Definitely
We've got
not that.
2011, 2012, 2014 and 2015.
Oh, let's go 2014.
2014. 10 years later, we signed his younger brother on loan. Who was the young defender who joined us in 2014?
Chamberlain. No. Oh, he was a violent defender. I can't remember his name. I think I know the player.
Anyone else?
No.
It was Dan Potts' older brother.
I was thinking of someone else.
Ready.
And final one to you, Scott. You can have 2011, 2012 or 2015.
I'll go 2011.
2011. Which transfer window signing joined us on loan for Wolves and wowed the Fratton faithful with impressive long throws?
I think that's about all we had in 2011, wasn't it?
He also sent me a lovely message on my wedding day.
Did he? Was that via paper aeroplane? I don't know.
I do know.
Anyone?
Did he get a Forest or something afterwards?
He's been everywhere, but yes, I think he did go to Forest.
Yeah. What's his?
He also used to play for Charlton, which was why because we had a table named after him at our wedding. Because our wedding, all our tables were named after players who played for Pompey and Charlton.
No, it was Danny Hollins, because Danny Hollins would have been later, wouldn't it?
No, it wasn't Danny Hollins. I thought it was like Robinson or something. It's not.
No.
Go on, put us.
Herman?
No.
Ah.
It was Greg Halford.
Greg Halford.
Oh, yeah. I remember the long
Priest
throws.
fame.
Yes.
I remember the long throws now, yes.
So before I give you the final scores, I'm going to ask if anyone knows the answers to the other two questions, because for both of them, I quite like these questions. So I'm going to ask them anyway. 2012, we brought in Lucas Scapuzzi, Abdul Rezak and Karim Rekic. Which team did we sign them all on loan from?
Man
That's
City.
thrown open to anyone. Man City, very good, Scott. And the final one, which 2015 signing from Bournemouth shares his surname with a character from the League of Gentlemen? Which was my favourite question of all.
Shearsmith.
No, he's not a character.
Character.
Oh,
It's not. It wasn't Dave Lazarou either.
Not
Papa.
Paulie. No.
Matt Tubbs.
Tubbs.
So the
Crikey.
scores, the final scores. Scott with a slightly embarrassing 1.5 points.
Is that all we
With a
got?
Yes. Jamie with a vastly improved 2 points, Reece with a respectable 4, and Tom with an impressive 5. So Tom,
Well done.
the winner.
Well done, Tom.
I think I got away with doing the years closer to me. So if if you'd put me down the early years path, I don't think I would have been anywhere near it.
No, well done anyway, because I wouldn't have remembered some of the recent ones either. So, wouldn't have mattered which year I picked. So thanks very much for that, Phil. That was brilliant. So, Tom, we were going to do a championship state of play with you, but I think that would take up quite some time. So we'll save that for another day if you don't mind.
Next time. Let's do it next time.
Because we're an hour and 7 minutes in. We only normally do 45, 50 minutes. Not that I'm not enjoying it. It's brilliant. But I'm thinking of the listener.
Sod the listener. Sod them. They knew the risks when they tuned in.
Our listener will probably fall asleep in his bath chair if we don't hurry this up. So we're going to January window. We've got Milanik Ali in yesterday, Wednesday, as we record. Wide player on loan for Luton. How many more do we think we are going to be getting in? 4, 5? What do you think, Jamie?
Oh, mate. I don't know. I'm really, really pessimistic. I was, if you'd have asked me a few weeks ago, I was really optimistic. I said like the 8 points that we get over Christmas. I was all fired up, and the last 2 games have just destroyed me. And the last 8 seasons of knowing what our extremely generous owner is likely to do, I just can't see us doing anything, mate. So John said he wanted 6, so I think we'll get 4 really substandard loans.
Okay. Any advance, Phil? What do you think? What do you think?
I was going to say 3 more as well. So I think there'll be 4.
I mean, Reece, there is probably not much benefit. So as I've said on our WhatsApp group, I have namaste. I've centered myself. I have accepted our fate. We are probably going down. I'm more than happy that if we have to do that, we have to do that to try again and grow again, because I think the way that we've attacked the Championship has not gone the way that we expected. I kind of possibly think that we got promoted way before the Eisners thought we would be ready, and therefore we just don't have the muscle, the firepower in either wages or transfer fees in order to be able to compete in the bottom half of the Championship. So if we have to go down to League One and start again, it'll be really disappointing. But I guess
at what point? Sorry, mate, to interrupt. But at what point is a man with $3 billion? How is an extra year going to? I mean, your point is totally valid, mate.
I know. I'm just as sceptical as you, and I'm just as annoyed with them as you are. But I'm just trying to be a little bit devil's advocate and just possibly try and understand what their brick by brick thinking is.
I think the only positive...
But I suppose if you could caveat the fact that we're not trying to sign anyone of any great wealth, and we're just trying to plug gaps, hoping that our senior players get back for the last 20 seasons, then that I guess that makes sense, as disappointing as it is, Reece.
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, Jamie and I are at different kind of ends of this, but again, one of us will be, well, the end of the season is an important thing. I mean, I think we all know that they said sustainability and they were going to do it slowly. I think the thing that's caught us out has been that the Championship has moved on so much to a higher level and a more financially competitive market than we were when we were in it before. It can financially ruin you. When you think about Biachini as a £2 million player, and you think, and considering how good he isn't, it's such a hard league to recruit into. And then you're looking at, 5 million for half decent players, 20 grand a week. That's a £10 million investment for one player over 5 seasons. It's hugely competitive. And when you think about the person with the most assists, I think I'm right in saying in all 4 leagues over the last few seasons is Josh Murphy, who cost absolutely nothing. And one of our better players has been Callum Lang, who cost 400,000. I think it's clear there is value out there. It's finding it, but when everything is going well, everybody doesn't mind it. When we get injuries and things, I think that's when people quite rightly question it. But I think if we don't have the injuries, I think this squad can compete in the Championship, no problem at all. But the reality is, there's no point in having players on your books if they can't play. So I think pretty sure in one of the interviews before Jeremy Chancellor Winner Machine, he said we've got 4 or 5 players for each position we want. I'm optimistic we'll get another 4 or 5 in. Whether they'll be good enough, I don't know. But I think the fact if we get our players back, I think we'll be okay. I really do think that the injuries are killing us. But that's where we are. Unfortunately, we're in a bottom 2 financial budget, I think. But that's what they said they'd do. So we'll see. It's never easy, right, with Pompey. It's always a roller coaster. But I think, considering Isa has now put out publicly, he's looking at Premier League and things like that. He's somebody who's turned around a multi-billion-pound global business. He's no mug. He knows what he's doing, and he does trust the people who are running the club to do that on a day-to-day basis. He said Premiership in 8 years. That's a public statement. He said we're not going to get relegated. That's a public statement. I think it'll put the club back a bit, considering that aims. Like you, if we go down, it's not the end of the world. We've been there before. We've risen again. But I'm quite optimistic that if we get the players back fit and the key players, I think we'll be okay.
Tom, I think Ali's signing sort of hints at that we will probably look at players that we can take a look at and possibly sign, because obviously he's gone to Luton and not really been given a chance there for whatever reason. Do you think that's the way that the transfer window going? I mean, I know you're not omnipotent, but have you heard anything particularly about any particular names you can share with us? Any rumours?
There's a list of 5 names, of which Millie Ali's name was on it, that I was sent and have shared to a few various places. This was sent to me on the 7th of January. I have to say, they're not the most mesmerising names on the planet, as may or may not surprise you. And if we all stay behind after this is recorded, the chaps might get to hear the names, because I did then ask someone if it was possible to verify them, and the response I got was, I believe most are correct. So yeah, there's
well, we look forward to that.
There is a list. My thing with the Ali one, I'm in a unique position whereby my job at the moment is to do in the world of sports partnerships. I was actually on a shoot with Ali at Luton not too long ago. I can vouch for his ability in terms of finding the back of the net, and I think he's a really solid player. My one thing would be, don't read in too much to the fact that he can't get in a League One Luton Town side. You look at sort of, Andre Dazelle couldn't get into the team that he was in at the time. No one had even heard of Nico Schmid. You look at Connor Shaughnessy. We've been there before with players that weren't necessarily tearing the place apart where they were. Didn't really get a chance to say it in the injury bit that we spoke about with the really well presented analysis and sort of statistics. But your own worst enemy if you're fishing in markets whereby we know these players are injury prone and we're taking a risk on these players and going, right, well, we're expecting them to operate at a level. We're taking the risk thinking, right, if we get this guy and he stays fit, then we're laughing. Whereas if this guy goes down crocked, then it's not very funny. So yeah, that's a roundabout way of saying that I don't think they're going to tear any trees up. I don't think that's ever going to be the Eisner way. I don't believe you can run a club sustainably in the Championship. You're always going to lose money. Every single owner loses money in the Championship. You can get out of League One and be big Pompey with HMS Victory, Spinnaker Tower, great city, League One, let's go, up we go. Really attractive place to come and play football. Championship's a completely different beast. So, yeah, with your reference to staying in the league or not, Scott, I think if we lose on Saturday, I think we're down. If we beat Sheffield Wednesday, I will remain hopeful for a little bit longer.
That's very brave of you, Tom. Phil, so the Scummers come to Fratton in a couple of weeks. They are thankfully not on a very good run at all. Let's hope they don't recover before they come to Fratton Park. How different do you think the team will be by that Sunday?
Different to what? Different to the team we put out against.
Well, do you think we'll have 3 or 4 new players playing on that Sunday?
I think we'll have 2 or 3. I think the problem is you assuming that the players we're going to bring in are not necessarily players that are coming in with 10, 15 games under their belt this season. You're assuming that they're going to be players that can't fit in otherwise. So these players are going to have to get up to speed pretty quickly. So I would expect two or 3 new faces to be on the pitch, maybe another 1 or 2 on the bench.
Yeah. So, Jamie, talking about that game in a couple of Sundays, we need the crowd, don't we, really? We need the atmosphere to be the same as it was against Arsenal. I mean, it can, whenever they come to Fratton Park, it can go one of two ways. We can either be really positive or we can spend most of our time screaming scummer and not really support the team. Do you think that we'll give the team the proper backing? And do you think we'll win? I know that's quite a stretch at the moment, but bearing in mind, we gave Arsenal a game for 45 minutes with not a full strength team. It's not out of the question.
100%, 110%, the crowd will be there for that match. There's part of me that's indecisive about which way it goes, because I remember Mandrick truly was galvanised with his support for the club after the first time we played the Scummers. He came alive and he bought into the rivalry. I remember the shooting the duck comment and the things like that, which are some of the most glorious times of being a fan for me. And so there's part of me that is hoping that if we do win and we do play well, the owners, that it might ingratiate and they might care a little bit more. They might start treating it as a fun hobby and invest some cash into it. There's also a part of me.
But don't we want them to treat it seriously and not a hobby?
No, not anymore.
Is the problem that they've treated it like a hobby so far?
So as Tom's just said, we could do that, but we're not going to stay in the Championship. We're not going to succeed that way. You can't succeed that way, and I mean, maybe you can. Maybe they'll prove us and the whole. Maybe two Americans will prove us and the whole of football wrong. But the way the way it's going on. So I'm hoping that maybe if we lose, and they see how they've never seen Portsmouth kick off yet. And for those of us that are a certain age know what happens when Pompey kicks off. And if we have a crap January transfer window, we fall into the bottom three, and we lose against the scum, Mr. Eisner might find out that he needs to buy another new ground. He needs to, because we've all seen it before. I can remember being a kid and seeing police vans, the giant things, getting flipped up, doing like somersaults when the mushes riot. Oh my God! And I don't think Eisner's ever seen that passion from the Pompey fans, and that might give him a kick up the arse. Or he might think, oh my God, I've got to sell this. I can't be associated with it. Who knows? But I'm torn between, it might push them one way or the other, and I think right now we really need to push in some sort of direction. Obviously, I want us to win. I want the crowd, the 12th man. I want us to do our job, and hopefully we can win that game. I can't wait for it. It's going to be amazing. But yeah, I don't have any level of confidence of us winning that.
We don't want to lose, though, do we? As you say, we don't want to lose.
Yeah,
Losing is unthinkable. We were unlucky not to beat them at their place. I think it was a fairly even game, but there's a couple of moments where we could have, with a bit more composure, got
so
the
here's
winner.
One for you. Here's one for you then. So go down and beat the Scummers, or stay up and lose to the Scummers. What are you picking there, Scott?
Oh, that old nut. Well, since I think we're already down, let's beat the Scummers. For me, I don't know if anyone else wants to answer.
Yeah, do anyone else want to go? Reece?
Stay up, obviously.
Yeah. Phil?
They're not that important, honestly.
I don't want to go to Bromley.
I won't answer that question. What I will say is I was at our work's Christmas party in back end of December, and the boys that I work with, we had a bit of a lads table. Everyone was having a bit to drink, and they said to me, unfortunately I work with a scummer who I actually haven't got a lot of time for. He's the only scummer on the planet that I actually do have time for, and he's a great kid. And they were saying, would you wear a scum shirt and get £10,000 and everyone takes a picture of it and it gets plastered all over social media? And I said, no, I wouldn't do it for £10,000. They said, would you do it for £1 million? I said, no, I wouldn't do it for £1 million. They said, would you do it for £10 million? I said, no, I wouldn't do it for £10 million. And they're all sat there going, you must be crazy, whatever. I said, no, I wouldn't, out of principle, I just wouldn't do it. So as much as I hate them, I'm the side of Reece, and I'm going to answer the question. I'm going to say I would rather our divisional status than actually, getting a result over them. But some of us think we're already down on screen and in our ears.
Yeah.
So,
I agree. I would rather we stayed up and lost to the Scummers, but oh God, I hope we beat the Scummers.
Phil?
I've already answered.
No, but you really hope we beat the Scummers, though, don't you?
Well, I do, obviously, but I'd take staying.
You
up.
take staying up, right? So as part of January, so we got Wednesday on Saturday, we got Watford on Tuesday, Scummers on the Sunday, and West Brom. We are potentially going to have 7 games in February, and in previous 2 seasons, our Februarys have been pretty crucial. The fact that for the promotion season, we won all but one game, which we drew in the February, which I think we had, was it 7 games in that month again, Tom? Probably in League One, and we absolutely pulled away at the top in League One, and we ended up winning it, and that was the key. Fab February, I called it then. Again, I called it Fab February last season when we gained quite a few points and managed to keep ourselves out of that bottom 3. So we've got potentially 7 games in February, if we include the rearranged Charlton one. So we've got Portsmouth at home. Unfortunately, 4 of them are away. So Portsmouth, Ipswich, Preston North End away, home to Sheffield United, away to Millwall, away to Wrexham, home to Hull. If we get, let's say, right, I'm going to ask each of you, let's say we get our first choice squad fit and playing for the start of February, and they stay fit for the whole of the month. How many points do you think we'll get? I'll start with you, Jamie. How many points do you think we'll be on by the end of February, and will we be out of the bottom 3?
What have we got now? We've got.
I'll give you a clue what we've got now.
25.
We've got 25 points from 24 games, so we've got 22 games left.
So I don't think we're going to get even against Wednesday. I just think the next 4 games are going to be difficult for us. I think points are going to be limited, so there's 4 from that. So I'm going to say 8 again.
8 from February. Yeah, Reece?
A bit more optimistic. I mean, what are we calling this Saturday? Is it the hospital derby, the injury room derby? Because they've got a massive injury crisis as well. So I think, say, if you get the first team out, especially Murphy and Lang, I think defence is slowly coming back. If you talk about the 7 games in February, that's 21 points. I'll go for 12.
Okay, Phil?
I will go for, unintentionally, smack in the middle of those 2. I'm going for 10 points.
10 points. And we'll finish off with you, Tom.
just for the month of February, you're after a number.
Well, you could also tell me what do you think? What points do you think will be on at the end of February?
We've got to go and beat Wednesday at Hillsborough. I just think that's just an absolute. We've got to go and do that. I think we'll lose to Ipswich. We'll get a point at Preston. Got to beat Sheffield United at our place. Don't think we'll get anything at Millwall. Don't think we'll get anything at Wrexham. And then we've got to beat Hull. So what does that leave us with? That's not very many, is it?
No.
I just the Scummers games on any given day. I'd like to get something at Watford, and I think West Brom will beat us. So, not very many, Scott, is the answer to your question.
No,
I don't know what that is.
I think
less than by 8, isn't it? Yeah, I can say 6. Yeah.
Pessimistically, I think we'll get 11 points between now and maybe 12 points between now and the end of February, and that puts us on 37. So which will give us. So what's that? That's possibly 11 games. So we will be on 35 games. So we'll have 11 games left to get 20 points, arguably.
We need to win 7 more games this season.
Yep.
That's what we need to do. If you can find 7 games out of however many left, that's what we need.
Unfortunately, I think it's going to be more than 52 to stay up this season. The problem is if everybody's beating Wednesday, including us, then that increases the point spread at the bottom as well. So, unfortunately, I think 52 is not going to be enough. I think we're going to need to match what we got last season to definitely stay up, and it's not looking likely at the moment. Well, thank you, gents, for all that. That's we've done
what a positive end.
Yeah.
No. It's. I think as usual, we always put some really good detail and some good information and into these pods, and I like to think we do good stuff. So, and it's glad we're back. Sorry for the delay, everyone. If you were really missing us, I can't believe you were, but if you were, we are back, and we will try and do this every 2 weeks. Reece, what do you reckon?
I reckon you got a good chance of that. Thank you very much. What, every 2 weeks from today, or are we?
Every 2 weeks from today, not missing one. Hey, anyway, listen, thank you very much, guys. It's been a pleasure as usual. So we will do this again in 2 weeks' time. Hopefully, we've beaten Sheffield Wednesday and at least got a point at Watford. So let's see what happens. Thanks, guys. Have a good week and a weekend, and I'll speak to you
Much
again
love.
soon.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Bye.